Yeah, those studs don't look the greatest. Well, I mean, they're not that bad, but they're covered in a lot of stuff.
Welcome back to Living with a Classic, and we're here with a Daimler Coupe. This is a manual one with a 6-cylinder engine, and like I mentioned in the previous video, the head's coming off because there's something wrong with it and the customer wants to fit a new one. So I've had another one that's been to the machine shop and gone through, and it's all ready to go, but this one needs to be removed. And I think it's going to be stubborn because at least me and the customer, we don't think this has ever been off the car. So this could be a really stubborn one. So let me show you what's going on, and we'll start taking it apart, and hopefully we can get it to come off without too much of a fuzz, and hopefully everything underneath the block and all that looks to be in good condition. But fingers crossed that it comes off easily, because these things can be stuck really badly. On the XK engines, the cylinder heads, like I said, can be stuck pretty badly. There are a couple tricks, and we'll show those later, to get them off. However, what really happens is on the later engines, the studs, these are not head bolts, they're head studs, they go all the way down into the bottom of the block, and they go through coolant passages. And there you have the similar metals doing what they do together with water. And what happens is, not only do they corrode, so they can snap if we're unlucky, however, they will grow instead. So they'll take, things from the aluminum, things from the block, anything else, and it will just grow onto there sort of as sludge. So when you need to move the head through that sludge, it gets stuck pretty badly. But hopefully we can get all this off. What I'm going to start with is all the things you don't need to see, like removing the manifolds. These are some stainless manifolds, so they look pretty easy to remove. I'll remove the intake manifold. I like to remove as much as possible from the cylinder heads before taking it off. We got to drain the coolant, do all these things, but I'm going to start doing all those things, and then you'll join me when we start taking the head bolts off and seeing what that looks like, seeing if we need to spray any lubricant or anything down the cylinders, loosen the timing chains up, and try to get the head off. All right, lots of progress has been made. The intake is off, and the exhaust is just hanging there on the side, and all the hoses and everything are disconnected. Now it's time to loosen the timing chain. There are two tools that you'll need. Timing chain tensioner tool for the upper timing chain, and it's good to have one of these cam alignment tools. So on a later engine like this is, you have 4 bolts holding the cams on. So what you need to do is, I set it to opposite of TDC. So if you have that TDC, you can put the cam tool in here and it will line up. But now those marks are on the other side. That way you can loosen these 2 bolts here, and then you turn the engine over to TDC. You can loosen the last 2 to get the chains out of the way. In here, which I've shown in detail in many videos, is the tool that you need to do to loosen up the timing chain. So shown that in lots of videos, but just a quick little reminder. Once that is done, loosen up the head nuts in the opposite order that they're supposed to be torqued, not forgetting the little nuts down here. And then just start getting the head off. They can be stuck on really bad, like we talked about, but we'll see what that's like. But I just need to get in here with this tool and hopefully be able to loosen it. It's quite tight in here. It's clockwise to loosen it, and you see the chain part is going down, and we feel now the chain is pretty loose on all sides, so that's great. Now I'm going to loosen, let me show you with the light here, the upper 2 bolts on both sides, spin the engine over, loosen the other ones, and then we're ready to start getting the head off. I realized I got a little bit ahead of myself and forgot to show one thing.
showing that the cams are now lined up with the tool. So that's all ready to go, and the crank is at TDC, so that's really good. It means everything is lined up as it should. I also removed the banjo bolts back here. There's an oil field line for the camshafts, and there's 2 banjo bolts, so those are removed. And you might be wondering, well, why did I remove the head studs with an electric impact? Well, there was a smaller chance of you unwinding the studs in the bottom of the block if you do that. Just because I would never put together like that. But when you use a breaker bar up here, there's a big chance that the stud unthreads in the bottom, and then you're just creating a lot more work for yourself. Because that hole with the threads down there, when the stud lifts up, that will fill with sediment and crud, and well, I've made a special tool to clean out those threads down there, but no fun. We are going to have a look at the studs when the cylinder head comes off, see if they're conditioned. If they look anything at all questionable, I'll remove a couple of the freeze or core plugs, have a look in there, see what it looks like. But judging by a couple of things I've seen, this cylinder head has been off before. They're up front, there's some washers missing, just some other things. So what I'm doing now is just spraying a penetrator fluid. Just starting with a spray one now because this stuff cruises pretty good. If this ends up not wanting to move, there are other things we're going to try, such as everyone's favorite ATF and acetone, and many other things. This one's good. You can see that the fluid is disappearing, actually bubbling down there. That's really good news. And same up here. Well, if we're lucky, this cylinder head won't be too bad. I'll let this soak now for a couple hours, maybe a day or so, we'll see. And it'll come out, and then I'll show you guys my trick for getting these cylinder heads off. So the trick is to use small bottle jacks. So you have one in there, and I have one on the other side as well. We're going to see if 2 is enough. So far, 2 has been enough for all the heads I've removed. But if it's stuck really badly, I'll pick up 2 more of these small ones. Just small 2-ton ones, really cheap ones from a parts store. But they fit on that ledge down there and in between the head. One thing I forgot to show as well is these little zip ties for the timing chain sprockets on the side. And everything should be off at the moment. So I'm going to start with even pressure on both sides, see if the cylinder head starts moving. And if we're lucky that it does, maybe it goes off really easily, or this will take days. We don't really know. Alright, I put some pressure on that side. Let us see if we can get this out. I can't really fit the jack handle in there, so using an extension. It's moving. I saw one thread level go down here. So don't get overly excited and start pumping on one side. I saw it moving over there. Let's go pump it on the other side. Make sure that it goes up evenly. But it started moving. That's really good news. It's actually moving really, really nicely at the moment. We're making good progress now. A little bit left to take off on that side, and then we'll see how stuck it is. If I can lift off the last of it by hand, or if we need to reposition the jacks and just continue. All right, we're getting really, really close now. Where's my light? It's weird, it's the studs on this side, which are always a little bit more stuck than the other side. But, yeah, a bit more, and then we should be able to hopefully just wiggle the last of it up. I'll continue with the penetrating fluid here. Couple more on this side and then over to the other side. So it's just going back and forth, trying to keep it even. But we're very close now. Let's see. There we go. Alright, I'm going to go through on the other side and lift it off. It's just quite heavy. Alright, so that was the head removal, and it doesn't look too bad, the old head, but it was definitely leaking from the valve stem seals and, you know, just leaking through the valves a little bit from sitting. Block looks really good, and I can't see any of the infamous cracks between the liners, so that's really good. And we have a rebuilt head going back on, so next couple days that will go back on. I just need to you know, do all the shims on the head, get that all connected up and ready in the bench, or I mean put back together, clean up the block. I have a gasket set on the way, and then I don't know, let me guys know in a future video, do you want to see when it all goes back together, or have you seen that enough here on the channel? Let me know in the comments down below. Anyways, if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and share it with friends. If you're not already subscribed to the channel, please do subscribe to the channel. It really does help out a lot. Till next time, I'm Adam. This was Living with a Classic. I'll see you soon.